doesn't split the video again.
It switched off when you started talking about your daughter.
Okay, I'm back. So the last thing that I was talking about was how I acted impatiently and spoke impatiently when my daughter was still unborn. So now it's going to be twice as difficult for you because you're carrying twins, and those around you will probably, they will at first have understanding, and progressively it'll just continue to get more difficult for you, and it will get more difficult for them, and they will lose patience slowly, and they will have moments where they act out of their emotional weakness and speak impatiently and without compassion. So this card wants to remind you to just engage your own potential and push through and have endurance, because there is no way forward except through. There's no way to cope except to endure. Endure until the end. Selah. Good afternoon, Gina. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for your question. Can you have a relationship reading? Yes, you may. I have another reading ahead of you for Shakshi Shaw. If Shakshi Shaw is still here. And after that I have a reading for Mahesh. And then we will have Gina Hayes. So Shakshi Shaw, if you are still here, please let me know, because you're up next. Shakshi Shaw is gone from the chat. Okay. Mahesh Yadav, are you still here in the chat? There we go. Mahesh is next. So I'm going to ask the tarot to give you some clarity on the Paul William. Blocking Paul William. Cool. Give you some clarity and some new perspective on this idea of leaving the country and seeking a job in IT elsewhere. Okay. Give Mahesh new perspective on how he can make this dream of working abroad, how he can make this dream real for himself and his family. Your past interval is the Three of Wands. I mean, the Three of the Trumps, and it is the Empress. This card is reversed, so it's talking to me about trauma from the feminine in your life. It's talking about struggles that you've had in your relationship with your female partner. It's talking about how you have been triggered by things she says and does that your mother used to say and do that were traumatic for you. But that period is closing, your perspective has shifted, and so you are no longer interacting with that feminine reflection from a position of trauma and trigger responses. Your present interval now is the Six of Wands, so having adjusted your perception of the feminine and having looked at how your relationship has triggered things from your childhood, it has brought you into a place where the relationship can now push you through your limitations. The Wands talk expressly about desires and intentions, and Six is all about evolving past limits. So it's saying that your relationship, the relationship that you have now, as a result of working through your own issues with the feminine, you are now in a position where you can transcend your limits. You were doing the best that you could with what you knew and with what you had, to make this dream real for yourself. And now you can break past those limits by interacting with your partner, and through your relationship you can get that much closer to having this desire that you want. It'll be difficult to communicate with your partner and to learn from her experiences and her life. It's going to be difficult and challenging. You're going to have to let go of some of your own preconceived ideas and things you thought were the right way, that she is saying, no, that's not the right way. But yeah, through your relationship you can get that much closer to having your desire real. Future. This is... okay, so the future isn't something that happens to you. The future is something that you make for yourself. It's not a thing that that's in the future that you're moving towards. It's something that you grab a hold of and bring into your present little bit by little bit. So this is going to talk about opportunities you can seize right now to make your future real for yourself, this future of working abroad. And it is the Seven of the Trumps. It's called the Chariot. So in this card, it's talking about taking a moment to actually create the vision. So you have this desire to work abroad, you said, like in Japan or in Australia. Now this card wants you to... people who come onto my thread to intercept and take readings, but this one isn't so bad. Replying to Brad Wolf. Yes, please. Give Brad Wolf what you... Oh dear, okay. Okay, so you have this idea that you want to go to Japan or Australia or something like that. Choose a place. Choose a direction that you want to go in. Create a vision. Imagine where you want to go to. Imagine how you're going to work. Imagine what your workspace looks like. Imagine going to work every day, how it looks, what your home will look like in that reality. Literally create the whole picture of what you actually want. Because right now you have all of these different options. And so, yeah, having too many options, not actually setting your vehicle in the direction to attain any of those visions. Choose one. Choose a vision that you're going to create for yourself. And then look at ways that you can actually take action towards making that real. Once you step out in faith and you choose that vision and you start sowing seeds to make it real, and you start, for example, looking at job opportunities in IT in Japan or in Australia or wherever it is that you're choosing to go, once you start sowing the seeds towards that, nothing will stop you. Nothing will be able to come in between you and that destination. You might experience challenges and things that try to bring you away from having that real for yourself, but they don't have the authority to stop your vehicle. They don't have the authority to stop your chariot. You alone have the authority to set your chariot in motion, and you alone have the authority to stop your chariot. So once you set your chariot in motion, nothing besides you can stop it until it arrives at its destination. But it's very important that you choose your vision now. You choose the reality you're going to create, and then you actually start sowing seeds and taking action towards making it real. Selah. If you have found value in these spreads that you've requested here today, please donate, please follow, please like, and please share. Thank you so much. These things are invaluable. Thank you so much. Jennifer Rogers says, don't let them mess up your vibes. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Thank you for your recognition. The disconnecting, the constant disconnecting is what has been interfering with my vibes, more so than the people who come onto the thread to irritate my viewers. So next in line we have a Gina Haynes, looking for relationship reading. It's strange, Jenny, it's strange because it's like that doesn't actually work, you know, to come onto someone else's live tarot and then like start spamming people, copy and pasting here, DM me for reading. It doesn't work. Those people very seldomly actually reach out to those people, especially when it's people who have already received a reading. I mean, it makes sense if the live video has ended and certain people didn't get readings. And I've often said to them, guys, just reach out to me if you're having trouble with your reach and you want help expanding your reach. Reach out to me, give me a reading so I can see what you're capable of, and then I will gladly promote you on my own platforms and help you attain the vision that you want. But they never do, so I just add them to the block list. We have an MFKN Sun card. MFKN Sun card on YouTube. Hi, this is Blush Lounge. Asking about a good job choice? Samuel, didn't you hear what I just said? Samuel on Facebook. Can I add too many to the block list? I don't think so. There's no limit on how many I can block. Okay, we've got Gina Haynes for a relationship reading, and then we have MFKN Sun card for a financial reading. Alright. Grant Gina Haynes new perspective on her current relationship or the absence thereof. Past, present, and future. Do I do health? Yes, of course. If you have a question, Jennifer, please ask and I will consult the spirits for you. Before I start your reading, Gina, I'm going to light this rolled cigarette. Thank you very much to Aziza Azura, who prepared and rolled this for me and brought it to me. Okay, so Gina, in your past we have a 9 of Swords. So the 9 of Swords is talking about reaching the end of your purpose. So you had purpose, and to define purpose, when you have a desire in your heart and you take actions towards obtaining that desire, that is when you are within your purpose. So you had a purpose and you were working towards it, and you went through the whole cycle and you were reaching the end of it, and that end period, when you get to the end of your road and you can't see what's ahead, can be quite disorienting and frightening, because we don't know what, like, if your purpose comes to an end, then what next? What do I do next? So this period where you had to face the inevitable end of the purpose you were engaged in at that time was frightful and difficult and disorienting, but that's in your past. And this purpose is, since your question is regarding relationships, it is within relationships. So I guess that's talking about your purpose in the relationship as the feminine partner, or one of them. In the present, where this has led you, where this inevitable ending of purpose has led you, is to the Prince of Wands. And the Prince of Wands is about putting yourself deliberately into a position where you have to engage your creativity in order to attain your desires. So putting yourself in a position where you only have one way forward, and that's to really engage the maximum potential that you have to push past limits and really get into your intention so that you can manifest your desires. So that's where you are now. Because of this purpose that you've had until now coming to an end, you're now forcing yourself into a position where you have no choice except to really engage and reach into the depths of your potential in order to have the desires that you want. So this, now with this present interval being exposed, I have a little more perspective on this past interval, and it's talking about how a previous relationship has reached a point where it looked like it was going to end, or it did come to an end. And so in light of that, you have now put yourself into a position where you have to really start making changes to yourself and really start reaching out and grabbing hold of the potential that you have in order to make the relationship work, or in order to make a new relationship manifest. Future interval. It is the three of the trumps, and it is the Empress. So this card is not talking about a future that's going to happen to you. It's talking about what you need to do right now in order to have the future that you want. And this is all about hope and femininity. It wants you to embody healthy, positive feminine traits. Those being the nourisher, to like the full moon, who is full. She gives nourishment to her children. She gives nourishment to her family. And that nourishment is not necessarily in the form of food, but yes, in the form of food, but also in the form of emotional fulfillment, and emotional support, spiritual guidance, all of these sorts of nourishment. She's also a shield that defends her family when resistance or adversity comes against those she loves. She stands with a shield to defend them from it. She stands with them in battle. No matter what it is they're facing, she stands with them. She's also prepared to give of her own blood to ensure their survival. So that means sacrificing of yourself for those that you love, to put their needs ahead of your own. That's what that symbol represents. Not actual blood, but to be willing to sacrifice of yourself and of your own convenience and of your own comfort for the sake of your loved ones. So embodying this character is how you attain the desires that you want. It's how you either make this relationship work if you are in a relationship that is at risk of falling apart, or it is how you step into finding new relationship. So instead of looking for new relationship, work on yourself and work on embodying these positive, healthy, feminine characteristics, and then the gateway to relationship will open up for you, and it'll just happen. You won't have to seek it. Selah. Thank you so much. If this reading was valuable to you, please feel free to donate to me. Liking, following, and sharing is equally as valuable. Thank you so much. So after Gina, we have MFKN Sun Card on YouTube for a recommendation of job choice and readings on finances. And then after that we have a reading for Jennifer Rogers, and Jennifer Rogers asks, says, am I having heart issues, or is it just a broken heart? And if you get any other message for my health, I'm open to receiving as well. Thank you again for your time. Much love and respect. Thank you to you, Jennifer. Thank you for your support and for joining us today. So we have a reading for MFK Sun Card on YouTube ahead of you, and then it will be your turn. Thank you for your patience. MFK Sun card, if you are still here, please let me know, because it's your turn for a reading. And then I have a comment from Hug Me Tight. Ooh. What are my pronouns? I, me, he, him. Yeah, I'm not actually so concerned. When I speak about myself in the third person, I will put an S and then a slash and then he. So she or he, saying that I don't really care about pronouns or labels. Not really interested in labels. I'm not going to get offended by being misidentified. I am secure in my own identity. What others think or say is of no concern to me. What am I wearing in my left hand? Left hand. These things. They're copper bracers. Copper bracelets. I've collected them. Some of them are from Botswana, some from Zimbabwe. Most are from South Africa, right here in the garden route. Okay. Give MFK Sun card new perspective regarding how he or she can manifest financial security for himself or themselves. Past, present, future. So your past interval is 9 of the trumps. It is called the Hermit. So this card is talking to me how you've recently, in the last month, you isolated yourself, not necessarily physically isolating yourself, but emotionally and spiritually. And you did this as part of your own journey of self-reflection. You had to look into yourself and follow the light of your own intuition to understand and realize your own potential and your own value. As you did this, you also, lots of traumas from the past showed themselves. Your shadow manifested and made itself visible, and you had to deal with those traumas and you had to integrate those shadows while you were looking for your value and your potential, following your own intuition as you went on this inner journey. So this doesn't, like I said, doesn't indicate physical isolation. It doesn't mean that you stopped going out. Maybe it does, but it doesn't mean that you stopped engaging in society. It just meant that you were isolating yourself spiritually and emotionally and sometimes physically as well, while you were searching for your own inner value and trying to realize what your potential actually is. And at the same time you were integrating shadows and dealing with traumas from your past. This card is telling me that you spent too much time there. So much time, in fact, that it was detrimental to your environment. Physical income, your financial income and various aspects of your life started to fall away because you were spending so much time on the inside in your inner world. As all this time you were spending on your inner world and neglecting your outer world, the outer world started to fall away little bit by little bit, and it wasn't in your interest. In your present, we have number 16 of the trumps, and it's called the Tower. So this is talking about becoming aware of your own insecurities. So we always base our identities on things that are not true. At various points in our lives, we choose to believe things about ourselves that are not true. Usually unhealthy things. We impose limitations on ourselves, saying, oh, we can't do that, or we're not good enough for X, Y, and Z. We make excuses and we believe things about ourselves that are not true, and we limit ourselves because of them. And we build our identity around those insecurities, around those lies that we tell ourselves. And certain events like this where you were sitting in the hermit and you were living in your inner world, looking for your own potential, and your outer universe started to fall away, and that caused you to become aware of your insecurities and your self-limiting beliefs. And it caused you to feel vengeance and frustration and anger at yourself for having these limitations and for seeing these insecurities. And you were tempted to justify them. You were tempted to justify your limitations and keep them in your identity. But the vengeance and the frustration you felt towards those insecurities was greater than your justification. And your entire identity is collapsing right now. It's falling apart. And this is good, because this old identity was based on insecurities, and those insecurities can't continue to exist. If you want to push forward and if you want to grow, you have to let go of this identity that was built around these insecurities, so that you can actually build a new identity based on these truths that you learned during this period of self-reflection. During that period, you learned that you have got value, that you have got potential, and now you can build a new identity based on those truths, based on that value and based on that potential that you have. Future interval is number 8 of the trumps, and it is called adjustment. So this is saying that now, as a result of going through this tower collapse, as a result of the old identity falling and collapsing, part of the process of building a new identity is going to require that you make some shifts and adjustments in your lifestyle and your behaviors and your habits. Habits that were linked and tied to the old identity need to shift and change now. You have to go through that in order to find a balance in yourself, to be able to find a balance between action and stasis, between the actions that you take towards manifesting your desires and then the periods of rest and self-reflection. So every time that you step out and you take action, it is also followed by a period of self-reflection and reflection and observation of that period of action. So you took action and then you stepped back and you observed your actions. And the card wants to let you know that these habits and these lifestyle shifts that you're going to have to make are going to be difficult. It's going to be unpleasant and uncomfortable to have to let go of certain ways of life and let go of certain habits, but it's very much necessary. You're going to have to let those habits go. As you let go of the old identity, the habits and lifestyle, the habits and the lifestyle of the old identity has to fall away with the old identity. Sila, regardless of how uncomfortable or unpleasant it's going to be, take the challenge head on and push through, and you will find balance. Amin. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your question. If there was value in this spread and you'd like to give some back, please feel free to donate to me. Liking, subscribing and sharing is also very valuable. Thank you so much. Haley White on YouTube, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Kimmy, thank you for joining us. Welcome. Kimmy on YouTube. So Haley asks, will I be happier in Palace? Kimmy asks, states, I would like to ask whether things will get better between me and my boyfriend. Okay, so you guys are behind Jennifer Rogers on Facebook. The next reading I'm about to do is for Jennifer Rogers, and then it will be Haley White, and then it will be Kimmy Mini. Okay. Okay, Jennifer, I'm going to start with a pendulum here. This will give me a clear yes or no, or perhaps not. You know, sometimes it's full of cuck and it doesn't answer questions clearly, but for the most part it does. It gives clear yes or no answers. So, yeah, first of all, we're going to ask, are you having heart trouble? That's going to be the question. Okay, so I'm going to drop the pendulum. Let me expand a little bit. So when I consecrated and calibrated this pendulum, I asked it questions that I knew were true. such as am I wearing makeup or is there milk in the fridge? And I discovered that a rocking back and forth is a no, and a rotating clockwise is a yes. And occasionally it'll rotate anti-clockwise, and what I've understood from this anti-clockwise rotation is a yes, but not absolute. So I usually see this anti-clockwise rotation when the question is uncertain and unclear. When a question is being asked about a future that can be real, if changes are made in the present. So here we go. When it stands still after I drop it, then I will ask a question. Until then, I'll be connecting with you and your energy. On behalf of Jennifer, am I suffering heart problems? The pendulum is rocking back and forth, so your answer is no. There is no problem with the function of your physical heart, but your heart center, your heart chakra, perhaps there are blockages there, and pain from heartache in the heart center, but the physical heart is okay. There's no issue with the physical heart. And now I will ask the tarot for a message regarding any other aspect of your health. Give Jennifer clarity regarding her physical, emotional, and energetic health. So we have number 11 of the trumps in the past position, and it is called Lust. In other decks, this card is called Strength. So this card, it's talking about revelations, how you had desires and longings, and you experienced awakenings or revelations regarding those desires and how to achieve them and how to have them in your life. And you engaged that desire, so that desire was inside of you, and you reached into it and you allowed it to be the fuel that drove you towards attaining your desires. This is in the past, and excuse me, I got distracted by sounds that are happening in the house. That is in the past. You've come out of a place where you were using your desire as a fuel to see the desire itself realized. You had revelations and realizations regarding how you can attain it, and then you used the desire itself, the passion of the desire, to step through a gateway and reach for those outcomes. In the present, we have number 10 of the trumps. It is reversed, and it is called Fortune. It is reversed. So this is talking about seeds that were sown. You took action, you set intentions during this period in the past, and those seeds grew, and they came full circle until the harvest was ready to be reaped. And not all of those intentions and not all of those actions were in your best interest. And in the present, you are reaping the negative side effects of those unhealthy seeds that were sown. So particularly regarding food, choosing unhealthy foods to eat, justified by saying no, we can't afford healthy foods or whatever. We're trying to manifest this desire for ourselves, so we can't budget for medicines and healthy things and mineral and vitamin supplements, and as a result now those negative intentions that were sown then have come full circle, and you're experiencing the effects of them now in the present. The card wants you to realize that you can start sowing seeds to your health now in the present. You can deal with the side effects of negative health symptoms, however small they might be, skin issues, weight issues, whatever it might be. You can deal with them now, and you can start sowing seeds and setting intentions now towards better health in the future, so that when the Wheel of Fortune turns around again and the seeds you planted now manifest again, you will reap a health harvest, not an unhealth harvest. Your future card is the Ten of Cups. It is also reversed. So this one is talking about how taking the opportunity now to sow in positive seeds for your health in the future, to sow positive seeds into the present so that you will reap a harvest of better health in the future. This will cause a well up of emotions. It's going to cause all kinds of unpleasant emotions to well up in you, and you're going to have to push forward and continue to sow your seeds and make your changes in the present, irrespective of what emotions are being brought into yourself. It also wants to mention that these emotions are going to spill. They have spilled in the present, in the past. Your negative emotions, whenever you've tried to make positive changes to your lifestyle in regards to your health and your family's health, it has created these well-ups of resistance in your emotional being, and that is spilled out onto the people around you. And that will, like the Wheel of Fortune went all the way around until you reaped what was sown, that spillage of negative and unpleasant emotions onto others will go full circle, so that now, in the present, as you're making these changes once again, not only are you going to see those emotions well up inside of you, you're going to see them well up inside of the people in your environment, and it's going to overflow from them onto people around them, and it's going to overflow onto you. But all of you need to push forward and not take the negative emotions as justification to go back into old cycles. Rather, to use the negative emotions to inspire you and to give you strength to take those negative emotions and channel them into making the changes so that you can see the future of health, of wholesome health that you want for yourselves. To not let the emotions justify going back to old cycles, to take them and channel them into new cycles, into creating a new cycle, a new Wheel of Fortune. Selah. Thank you for joining. Your question was very inspiring. I really enjoy getting the opportunity to use the pendulum. If you found value in the spread, please feel free to give value back by donating to me, by liking, by following, and by sharing. Thank you so much. Amen. So I've been online for 2 hours now, I think. I'd like to push for another hour. Haley White is next with a Will I Feel Happier in Paris. And then we have Kimi Mini. So Haley White, if you're still in the chat, please let me know, because it's your turn. We have a P. Parul Sharma. P. Parul Sharma. When will I get married, says P. Parul Sharma. And then we have Cheryl on YouTube. Hi, says Cheryl. New subscriber already liked and subscribed. Thank you so much for that, Cheryl. You can go ahead and ask a question and I'll get to it in order. We have quite a few readings, not quite a few, but 1, 2, 3. 3 ahead of you. 3 that have to be done before we get to you. And then we have Mary Kearney on Facebook. Hello, can you tell me, is the man I love going to be with me soon? He is ignoring me. Thank you. So Mary, we will get to you. We have 4 readings ahead of you. And then Jennifer says, the loss of my brother and my daughter and her father, it's hard to try to stay positive, but I got this. Thank you so very much. And thank you, Jennifer, and pausing to contemplate the magnitude of what has been revealed through your spread. You have this. It's less about staying positive, to be honest. Every emotion and every experience must be experienced. It must be welcomed and accepted. It's less about staying positive and more about your reaction, not reacting to it, not reacting to the heartache and not allowing the heartache to justify unhealthy behavior. So it's okay to be negative. It's okay to be in heartache and in pain. You don't have to pretend to be positive and pretend to be okay. It's not about staying positive. It's about choosing not to react to your emotions. It's about choosing to take action that will bring about healthy changes in your life regardless of how you're feeling. That's what it's about. I mean, okay, so Haley White, please let me know if you're still here. Who else was on YouTube requesting a meeting? Kimmy Minnie would like to know if things will get better between her and her boyfriend. Kimmy Minnie, if you're still here, there we go. Kimmy Minnie is here, so we will move on to Kimmy's reading. Reveal to Kimmy how she can actively make changes towards improving her relationship with her boyfriend. Past, present, and future. Okay, so the first card here, which is your past interval, it is number 2 of the trumps. It's called the Priestess. So this card, it's reversed by the way, it's talking about potential for value, financial value, physical value, emotional value, spiritual value, all types of value. So regarding your relationship, recently, or a period that is now closing, is where you had potential to create positive changes. Both of you had opportunities to create positive changes and to find emotional abundance and physical satisfaction in your relationship. However, to seize that opportunity, it required that both of you have endurance and that both of you have the ability to go long periods without fulfillment. And you guys neglected to take hold of that opportunity, and you neglected to exercise that endurance. Or this way, you reached out to take hold of that opportunity, but you neglected to apply the endurance and strength that was necessary to find that emotional fulfillment. And so therefore the opportunity for that emotional fulfillment fell away. And that has led you to the present moment. In the present moment we have a Three of Wands, and this is talking about hope. You have desires, both of you have desires for this relationship, and both of you have set intentions in the present. You're busy setting intentions to make those desires real. And you have hope that those desires will manifest, that your intentions will manifest the desire for the relationship into the present. The card also wants to point out that your boyfriend has a specific idea of the feminine. He has a very particular idea of healthy femininity and toxic femininity, and he has hope that you will embody the positive aspects of femininity, and those, some of the aspects of the divine feminine is the nourishing aspect, who gives emotional support and who gives spiritual guidance, and who stands alongside her loved ones in battle, and she shields them from those that would come against them, stands in battle with them, even when the enemy is not against her but against her loved ones. She will stand up for them and hold a shield for them. She's also willing to sacrifice of her own comfort and her own convenience for the sake of those she loves. So he wants to see these characteristics in you, and he has hope to see them develop. He hopes to see the divine feminine manifest in you, and he hopes to embody the divine feminine in himself. As well as he's trying to develop his own divine masculinity, he also has hope to develop divine femininity, and he needs to see that in you before he can reflect it in himself. And these are instrumental to this development of the divine feminine in both of you, is instrumental to having the desires that you wish to see in your relationship become real for your relationship. Future interval is number 11 of the trumps. It is called Lust in the Thoth Tarot, and it is talking about revelations and realizations regarding your desires. So this desire you have for your relationship, what you want to see happen in this relationship, and the full picture that you want to manifest in the relationship, you are about to experience realizations and revelations as to how that can be possible. And the card wants to encourage you, so when you have these realizations and these revelations and what the means is to manifest the ideal picture of the relationship for yourselves, it wants to inspire you to take the desire itself and use it as fuel, to use it as a driving force that pushes you towards that. It also wants you to realize that you are responsible for your aspect, for your role in the relationship. You can't wait for him, and he can't wait for you. Each of you has to give 100% towards the relationship. Each of you has to give 100% of your energy and your passion towards making it work. If you are giving 100% and he doesn't match it, then the relationship will be held as long as you hold 100%. But as soon as you let go of that 100%, the relationship will fall away. So ideally, we need both parties to be giving 100%, so that when one of them can't give 100%, when one of your cup starts to empty, the other one holds the relationship at its ideal. And when that one falls away, the other one is holding it. So both of you have to be working towards giving the best and all of yourself to the relationship. Otherwise, it won't work. If one of you is not doing it, then it will fall away when the other one can't give all, if that makes sense. Selah. I hope this gives you perspective and helps you understand what you can both be doing towards making this relationship work and making things better in the relationship. Amen. Welcome, KH 1567. I'm just going to call you KH. I'm glad that it resonates, Kimmy. If you feel you would like to give some value in return, please feel free to donate to me. Also, liking, subscribing and sharing is invaluable. Thank you so much. And you're most welcome. KH, there is no queue because I'm streaming to multiple platforms, so a queue on one platform isn't going to work. So if you have a question, please just ask it and I will get to answering it in the order that the questions appear in the chat. And then we have the Spring Occultist. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. If you have a question you'd like to ask, please ask it and I will get to it in order. We have a few requests ahead of you in coming from Facebook and from YouTube, so I will get to your questions in order. I'm going to have a look at who is next. We have a P. Parrell Sharma. P. Parrell Sharma wants to know, when will I get married? If you're still here in the chat, please let me know. After P. Parrell Sharma on Facebook, we have Cheryl on YouTube. Still waiting for your question, Cheryl. The Spring Occultist says, why hey Kerr, it's illustrious Pharaoh. Hey Roy, welcome and thank you for supporting me. I'm so glad to see you here. Yeah, welcome. Thank you for joining. So it looks like Cheryl did not ask a question and it looks like Cheryl is not here in the chat anymore. And P. Parrell is not here anymore. So we're skipping them. Then we have Mary Kearney on Facebook. Can you tell me if the man I love is going to be with me soon? Mary Kearney, if you're still here, please let me know because you'll be next in line. And after Mary is KH. KH1567. Welcome at Bhavna Sharma. Bhavna Sharma on Facebook. And welcome at Aditya, who says, already shared trading business growth reading. Awesome. Bhawa Sharma asks, am I twin flame? Okay, so we've got a reading for KH on Twitch, a general reading. And then after KH will be Bhavna Sharma. And after Bhavna Sharma is Aditya. And then after Aditya will be Amit, who says, Ma Mera Carrier SGT University Job Me Kaisa Rahega. Okay, Amita, I'm afraid I don't know what language you're speaking there. So I give readings in English, as that is my mother tongue. If you can give your question in English, I can give your reading in English. So KH asks me, is there any reason why I do free readings? Yes, that's an excellent question. Thank you for asking. The reason that I'm doing these free readings is to spread my influence and to let you guys become aware of how I read and the value that you can receive through my readings. I also want people to be aware that I'm not just talking shit, that I don't just give twin flame readings and answer questions based on what people want to hear. That my readings provide new perspective and give people the opportunity to make changes to their lives so that they can realize the futures that they want to manifest for themselves. So mostly these free readings are about expanding my reach, growing a following, and yeah, advertising for paid readings has very, very, very seldomly resulted in any paid readings. Giving these free readings, I have received 3 donations in the last 2 weeks. So there's more potential for growth doing it this way at this point in time. As I get bigger, I can also then say to people, if the queue is getting too long, I can say you can be bumped to the queue, to the top of the queue, if you'll make a $2 donation. When did I start? I only started like a month ago, not so long ago. Sindel Mais just joined the chat on Facebook, says, "Hi, I'm from South Africa, would love a relationship reading, please." Okay, Sindel, there are quite a few readings behind you, so yeah, patience please. I will get to you in the order that the questions are asked. I'm going to do a reading for KH on Twitch. I need to just go back up in the chat and see what it was that you asked me. Oh, it was a general reading, right. Okay. Make KH aware of opportunities that may otherwise have gone unnoticed. Past, present, and future. So your first card, KH, is the Lovers, and this is in the position of your past. So this card is telling me how you got into a relationship, and that relationship helped you break your limitations. So you were doing the best that you could in your life, with what you knew and with what you had, with the resources that were available, the best that you could with your emotional self, the best that you could with your finances, the best that you could with your inspiration and your intuition. But there were still limits, because we're not all knowing. We have limits to what we know, and we have limits to our resources. And then through this relationship, it's not necessarily talking about a romantic relationship. It's just talking about having come into contact with someone who was also doing the best that they could with what they knew. And through interacting with this person and building a relationship with them, you were able to overcome your limitations. You learned new things, and you had new resources at your disposal, and you gave pieces of the puzzle to that other person, and that person gave pieces of the puzzle to you, and so both of you were able to push past your previous limits and overcome your barriers. And this has led you to your present, which is the number 10 of the trumps. It is called Fortune. So during this period where you were doing the best that you could, and when you came into contact with this other individual and thereby transcended your limits, you were sowing seeds and taking actions towards achieving your goals. And those seeds that you planted, they grew, and they came full cycle round into your present. And now, in your present, you have the opportunity to reap the harvest of those efforts. You are now in a position where you can claim the returns on the investments of time and energy and finances that you made during that period. It also wants to remind you to do it again, to not sit back and relax just yet, to now that you are reaping your harvest, to again sow new intentions, to take new actions towards your goals, sowing new seeds into the present so that the cycle can continue, and that you will have the opportunity to harvest that value and receive those returns once again in the future, once the Wheel of Fortune is turned for a second time. Your future interval is the Queen of Cups, and it is reversed. So this one is telling me that soon to be, your emotional self is going to get in the way of your desires, or it's going to come up and it's going to be a resisting factor towards attaining your desires. Certain realizations and revelations you're going to experience, and those realizations are going to be how you can reach your desires. And with those realizations are going to come all of these rising feelings, these emotions, strong emotions, and they are potentially going to derail you from your process of attaining your desires. But with this in mind, you can, instead of reacting to your emotions, instead of doing what the emotions tell you to do when you feel them, you can choose to act in alignment with your desires and the purpose you've set for yourself. And you can direct all of that emotional energy into accomplishing your desires rather than reacting to it. It's very important now that this has been revealed, so when you have these realizations about how you need to, what kind of actions you need to take in order to realize your desires and to step into your purpose, when you feel the negative and the strong feelings, don't listen to them, don't do what they tell you to do, don't let them derail you from your process. When you act on your emotions and you react to them, you step away from purpose. So remember that when you feel those feelings, dissociate from them, separate from them, and say, no, I'm not going to react to these emotions. I'm going to take action that is in alignment with my purpose, irrespective of what these emotions are saying. And in doing so, each time that you do so, it'll become easier and the emotional uprisings will be less intense. You will be proving to yourself that you are stronger than your emotional self, that you can attain your desires irrespective of the daunting frustration or hopelessness that comes with the realization of what is actually necessary in order to attain them. Selah. I hope this reading was valuable to you, and if it was, please donate to me. That will be returning some value. If you can't and you're not by the means, a follow, a like and a share is equally valuable. Thank you so much. The emotional uprisings will come out of fear of failure. They will come out of traumas in the past. You will have to look at them and find the root. When we feel things like anxiety and fear and frustration come up, they're always rooted in something that happened in the past. When we went through it the first time, those experiences were not as painful in the emotional self. But as a result of failing, or as a result of reacting to emotions and allowing them to derail the process, allowing outside factors to derail us from our purpose, it then creates a blockage in that creative center. So when we come back in the circle and we need to apply those techniques again and make those actions again, then we experience resistance in the emotional self as a result of that past experience. So when you feel them come up and you have these realizations of what's actually necessary in order to attain your desires, have a look at what happened the last time you had similar realizations, and that will expose the root of why you're feeling those things. It's not so important right now as to why you're feeling them. What's important is that you don't allow them to get in the way of you and your purpose. Selah. Yes, you can channel your emotions towards attaining your purpose, but reacting to them will separate you from purpose. You can channel them into attaining your purpose. You can set systems and structures, and you can charge that intention with your emotions. But to react to your emotions, to speak negatively or to take actions that are not aligned with your purpose will separate you from your purpose. Hurting people, blaming yourself, making justifications as to why you shouldn't act towards your purpose because of the emotions you're feeling, that is what will separate you from them. Welcome Depti Saji on YouTube. Welcome Thelema Portes on Facebook. I'm having a look to see who came after KH, but to be honest with you guys, I'm actually feeling quite exhausted at this point. And when I started out the stream, I did say I was going to go until 3:30, and it is now 3:30. So, let me see who came after KH. It doesn't matter. Whoever, I'm going to give anyone an opportunity for a reading, but this will be a paid reading. A donation of your choosing for one last reading before I close the stream. Yeah. Please, if you would like a reading, I'm going to close the stream now, so if you'd like one last reading, please send me a donation and you will get your reading. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and close the stream. I'm quite exhausted and I have fulfilled my allotted time. Opportunity for one more reading, guys. It's a paid opportunity, a donation of your choosing, and the first to make that donation gets the reading. When I'm finished smoking this cigarette, I will close the stream unless I have received a donation. Deep Sati Saju, I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for asking. How are you doing? Feeling a bit sad. Sorry to hear that. Oh, fine. Good to hear. So, just a reminder, I'm about to close the stream. As soon as I finish with this cigarette, I'm closing the stream. There's room for one more reading. The first person to send a donation through will receive that reading. You can find a link to my PayPal or a link to my AirFund project in the descriptions. Deep Sea Saju on YouTube says getting better, was exhausted. Yeah, I'm feeling quite exhausted at this point. Not just yet. I have to take a drive and go and fetch pig food, and then I have to feed all of the animals on the farm. And then I have to cook dinner, and only then can I rest. Nitin Dutta on Facebook, welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm closing the stream as soon as I'm finished with the cigarette. The first person to send me a donation before then will get the last reading of the day. If I receive no donation before the cigarette is out, I'm closing the stream. The Spring Occultist asks, what is my deck? It is the Thoth Tarot. The deck that Aleister Crowley and that woman with the surname Harris, the Egyptologist Harris. KH, you can send the donation through to PayPal or through to the AirFund link. There's no AirFund link on my Twitch, so you can send it through to the PayPal, and yeah, I'll get a notification instantly to know if I got a donation. And it can be a donation of your choosing, any amount. What I can do for you, KH, is actually drop the link into do you have to set it up? Okay, let me find you my AirFund link. I don't think you require PayPal for the AirFund. Let me have a look. So, here comes the AirFund link. Okay. I haven't tried to go through that link just yet. I don't know what the payment options are. But yeah, I'm done with my cigarette, so I'll just sit here and chat for a bit, and we'll see if you can come right. Otherwise, you can feel free to reach out to me privately, and we can actually schedule a proper reading. We can schedule a private reading for you. My social links are all there on Twitch. You can reach out to me on any of those platforms. Yeah, Facebook or Discord. I actually spend most of my time on Discord lately. I'm having a look. Just give me a sec. Yes, here we go. Okay, so I have a donation. Thank you so much. You have no idea how the financial support is a blessing to me. And this is for Seaburn on Facebook. So Seaburn is going to get a 5-card reading. Alright, general 5-card reading for Seaburn, who is one of our donors. Thank you so much. Give to Seaburn information which is equal in value to the value which has been given. That's your general overview. Things which will assist you. Things which are resisting you. Outcomes. So, your first card is number 10 of the trumps. It is called Fortune, and it is reversed. So what this card is saying is that in the past you have taken actions and you've sown seeds to create the future you want for yourself. However, some of those intentions that you set were negative, and some of those actions you took were not in the interest of others, and so you have gone full circle. The Wheel of Fortune, when you planted those seeds, the Wheel of Fortune began, and those seeds grew, and those intentions manifested into the world around you, and the wheel has gone all the way around and has come back, and it is back where it started, and you are now reaping the harvest of what you've sown. So many of those intentions were positive, and you're receiving returns on your investments of time and energy and finances, but some of those intentions were not in the interest of others and not in your own interest, and so some of these returns that you're getting are also losses. Some of these returns are not in your interest. Negative intentions that you set against others are now being returned to you as others are setting negative intentions towards you. This is not exclusive. What you're receiving is not exclusively negative, because what you sowed in the past was not exclusively detrimental. You sowed positive things and you sowed negative things. This card also wants to remind you that now that the wheel has come full circle, it is time to sow new seeds and take new actions towards attaining your goals, bearing in mind that anything that you sow you will reap, whether that is positive or negative, reminding you to sow positive things now into the future and learn from the lessons of sowing negative intentions in the past. Selah. Things that will help you and assist you and move you forward. This is number 8 of the trumps, and it is reversed. So this one is saying that it is in your interest to make some changes and shifts to your lifestyle and your habits, particularly from this past cycle that is just closed, to have a look at that period of your life and see what parts of yourself in that period, what habits and what lifestyle decisions you had in that period that were not healthy, and to make changes, even if those changes are difficult to make, and even if it's a challenge to let go of old habits. It is encouraging you to make those changes, to observe yourself and make some positive changes in order to create a balance between your income and your expense. And this is not only your financial income, this is also emotional income. The amount of emotional support that you give to others, you don't want that to outweigh the amount of emotional support that you receive from those same others. And so this card is encouraging you to observe your life and this period that is recently closed, and make some positive changes to yourself so that you can have a balance between your income and your expense. Possible resistances. This is your crossing card, and it is the Knight of Swords. So this is saying that you are now going to make these changes, you're now going to make these shifts, but you have a certain idea of what your purpose is, and you have a certain way of reacting to things that happen in your environment, and that way is changing, it's dying. That old way, that understanding of your purpose, and that your old thought processing patterns are dying. And this is something that can potentially get in the way of these changes that you need to make, and it can potentially get in the way of the actions that you're about to take in the present in order to attain your goals in the future. It also wants to point out that you can use this to your advantage. If you acknowledge that the old purpose is not serving you anymore, and you let it die without resisting that shift, then you can essentially re-identify your purpose. So to expand on and define purpose, you have a desire in your heart, right? You have something you want from life, something that's truer than everything else. And when you take actions towards making that desire real, you are acting within your purpose. So this card, it is saying that this period of letting go of what you previously thought was your purpose is potentially getting in the way of the changes you need to make to your lifestyle and the habits you need to let go of. However, if you let it go and you identify what your heart truly wants, and you start building a new purpose around that desire, you actually will have the upper hand in this process of finding balance in yourself and balance between your income and expense. Outcome number 1. This is the 7 of Cups. So this is talking about choosing where you're going to dedicate your emotional energy. It is saying that you should not look to distractions. When you have emotions, you should not be looking to distract yourself from those emotions. You should allow those emotions to be experienced fully and wholly within the present moment. Each moment that comes in life, you need to be present with everything that it causes you to feel and not seek out distractions. So as an outcome card, this is saying that these shifts that you can make here in order to find balance between your emotional income and your financial income, those changes and those shifts and that balance that you will find will help you here with this emotional direction, choosing where to dedicate your emotions. Once you have balance, you will know where to put and dedicate your emotional energy, and also you will not feel inclined to seek out distractions like television series or drugs and alcohol, or any kind of distraction from your emotional process and your self-development process. Outcome number 2. This is the 8 of Cups, and this is also talking about making shifts and changes, but it is a result. So the shifts and changes that are being mentioned here in your assist card, once they are made, you will automatically find that your finances and your physical security is balanced. Your expenses will no longer outweigh your income, and more than that, you will also snap. My train of thought just disappeared. More than that, what was I saying? Balance between your income. It will no longer will your expenses outweigh your income, but also you will be able to save and dedicate certain financial resources and assets towards the financial future that you actually want for yourself. And even more than that, you will be able to start getting rid of your debt. Silla, I hope that this reading was valuable to you and you feel it was worth the donation that you made to receive it. Thank you so much. The investment you made, you will reap it tenfold and more. Amen. Okay, cool. So KH says that he's going to reach out and we're going to schedule a private reading. Awesome. In that case, I'm going to close this stream for today. Thank you so much, Seaburn. You have made the stream worth it. Thank you so much. I hope that I will see you again in future streams. I don't only do these tarot reading streams, I also do music streams, and I do like just chatting streams where I talk about my experiences and let others talk about their experiences. And then on the rare occasion, like on the Sabbats on the Wheel of the Year, then I hold a ceremony and I share that ceremony. I allow viewers to watch via a live stream while I go through the rituals of that ceremony. The most recent one was a Beltane ceremony. The next one, I believe, is going to be the summer solstice. And yes, I hope to be able to share that one with you guys as well. So thank you so much, everybody who joined, everybody who liked and shared and subscribed and followed. Much appreciation to you, and a special a special appreciation to Seaburn, who donated to my efforts today. Thank you so much. Closing the stream.